Hatchet, you're late.
Sir.
What do you mean by coming in here at this time of day?
I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind my time, sir.
You are indeed. Step this way, Mr. Cratchit, please.
It's only once a year, sir. It won't be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
I'm sure you were. Well, we won't beat about the bush, my friend. I'm not going to stand this sort of thing any longer, which leaves me no alternative but to raise your salary. I haven't taken leave of my senses, Bob. I've come to them. From now on, I want to try to help you to raise that family of yours, if you'll let me. Well, anyway, we'll talk it over later, Bob, over a bowl of hot punch. Meanwhile, you just go and put some more coal in that fire. And you go straight out and buy a new coal scuttle. Isn't you do that before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit. I don't deserve to be so happy. I can't help it. I just can't help it.
Good evening, one and all. It's the one and only movie program of the Central Coast. It's Take Two.
Eating pigs.
It's Take Two on Public Radio KCBX. Welcome aboard. Across the aisle from me is the amazing Catherine McDonald.
Oh, well, good evening, Jim. And across the aisle from me is the czar of cinema on the Central Coast, Jim Dee.
And Bob is 3,000 miles away, Bob Whiteford, who is here. He's with family and friends 3,000 miles away in New York, and we wish him well. And, of course, we wish all of you out there the happiest of holidays this coming week. And
absolutely.
For the new year coming. And, you know, movie-wise, there is a ton of stuff out there. I can't believe this holiday season, Catherine. I mean, there's so much that's just hitting the theaters now,
right.
And just so much more that's still coming out. There's on into January, there's all sorts of new releases and Oscar hopefuls.
Yeah, this seems to be a really packed calendar this year. I think last year wasn't so many blockbuster type of films opening up, but you know, we of course have the battling Leonardo DiCaprio films this year for our holiday, and there's a lot of big high profile films coming out, which I think there's a lot of excitement and a lot of buzz about. So there's a lot to see out there.
And our subject on tonight's program of Take Two is perhaps looking a little bit further than the usual fare that you sit down with your family and watch around holiday time. Our opening on today's program came from A Christmas Carol, which happens to be my favorite version of it with Alistair Sim. It came out in 1951. And you can see George C. Scott as Scrooge. You can see Albert Finney as Scrooge. You can see a number of different Scrooges. But in that particular version of A Christmas Carol that we opened up with Alistair Sim, pretty much my favorite.
Well, and I like how you pointed out before, his laughing becomes just positively delirious.
At the beginning of the film, he is a very scary and awful Scrooge. And then when he is visited by the three Ghosts of Christmas, and then becomes the very giddy and silly Scrooge at the end. I mean, he just goes off the deep end, but it's delightful. And, our subject tonight on the show, there are films that are specifically, wonderful around the holiday times. A Christmas Carol in its many versions, A Christmas Story, which has become really big, and then, of course, how can we forget about It's a Wonderful Life?
Right. And really, these are films that you could see. They're probably gathered together at your local video store in one section, so you could, easily pick from them. And also, I'm always reminded of when I was young, on television, there's one chance. This is before the advent of VCRs and what have you. Is that once during the Christmas time on television, that's your one chance to see It's a Wonderful Life that year, or whatever film it happened to be. So, or again from my childhood, seeing How the Grinch Stole Christmas, not the Jim Carrey version, of course. I'm talking about the original cartoon, which was just so endearing to me. But yeah, I mean, it seemed very special as opposed to you could see these anytime, any time of the year. So, but yeah. There are those selections of the typical holiday films. But, Jim, you and we're going a little bit beyond. This is a little bit a more cutting edge on the holiday theme, so to speak.
I would say that the springboard that we're bouncing off of here is The Wizard of Oz used to be a perennial Christmas favorite.
Right.
And prior to the age of video or re-releases in movie theaters and so on, to watch The Wizard of Oz with the family around Christmas time was something that was
a big deal.
A big deal. And you also think of The Wizard of Oz isn't really a Christmas movie, but it became a holiday movie.
Favorite, right?
And that's where we're going. A number of films that we're going to be talking about on today's program that would be great for the holidays for one reason or another. The reasons we found in talking about the subject prior to the program, but there are films out there that you can rent, that you can join with your family, that perhaps we would like to see as perennial favorites or becoming perennial favorites.
Exactly. And also it's just a time to draw film into your life in the just having some time from the holidays off.
So our first film.
Well,
Catherine?
and I just have to say, I'm speaking of getting giddy. I'm getting very excited about just even mentioning this film, and that's a film from 1995 entitled Babe, about a pig who talks, which I'm sure some of you might be groaning. Otherwise, I hope that other people are saying, "Okay, that's
Oh, it's a wonderful.
It's a wonderful film, and the reason I'm sort of in the theme of our alternate films for the holiday season, Babe to me it captures the sense of the triumph of goodwill, and not the triumph of the will. That's a totally different movie. The triumph of goodwill, and Babe, for those of you who aren't familiar. And in fact, we do have a clip that you'll be able to hear James Cromwell, who is now, you'll see, he's much more of a character actor that you've seen a lot in more current films. But Babe is a pig who is, he's going to be Christmas dinner. And however, this farmer, played by James Cromwell, he grows an attachment for Babe. And of course, this magical story ensues where Babe, in fact, of course, saves the day and is just a tremendous. He conquers all and is able to. Well, I don't want to give it away, but he does something pretty amazing for a pig. And one of the things I really like about this film is that it is totally appropriate for the entire family, which is sometimes rare. And it is not one dimensional at all. I mean, this is a character we're loving, and they really they don't hide the fact that this is a farm, and these animals are food animals, but there's these two worlds going on where there's Babe as he talks and works with the other animals, and then his relationship to the humans, where of course he does not speak to them, but there's sort of that very powerful interaction between these two worlds, and it's completely fun. Very funny, enjoyable. It's just a great movie. And in fact, I think that it would be a tremendous addition to any holiday viewing.
Well, in fact, in the clip we're going to listen to now from Babe, Christmas morning is not a great morning for Babe. Let's listen, Gary.
Eating pigs. Blah. Barbarians.
You're going back to the fields, Ma.
Oh, young'un. Tragic there ain't more of your kind. I'll be thinking of you, always.
I could come and visit you, Ma.
I'd like that, but, well, we shouldn't hope for too much.
La la la, la la la. la la, la la la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Hey!
And so it was Christmas Eve, and time had run out for the pig.
Are you doing him tonight, then? Good. The blood will drain by morning.
Pity.
What's that?
Nothing.
What on earth are you babbling on about?
Shame to miss out on the best ham prize at next year's fair is all. Nice plump haunches he's getting. Beautiful. Still, silly to wait, I suppose.
It's time to make the dinner for
I
Christmas.
know.
Ooh. See, what I think is great in Babe, and perhaps we can even bring up Wizard of Oz in some of these films, is there's some real grave danger. In
Right.
fact, when you think of Wizard of Oz and those little flying monkeys, they're pretty scary.
I don't want to think about the monkeys.
and the witch, and in Babe, there's some real danger.
The reality of a pig's existence on the farm is for one purpose. Let's face that. But yeah, I mean, and I just have to say the Babe singing, adorable.
Jingle bells.
I know. Snorting all the way. Anyway, so again, it's a very charming, fun film that if anybody has not seen it, this would be a perfect time to add that to your viewing.
Mm-hmm. You're listening to Take Two, the movie program on Public Radio KCBX, and we're pointing out some films like Babe that we would like to see perhaps as a perennial holiday favorite, and at the very least is one that you can pick up at the video store and enjoy with your family during the holidays. So
Great.
Babe is our number one, our first recommendation. I'm going to move on to another film that, again, doesn't really have a holiday spirit around it, but a very real themes. And I chose for our next very brief overview of Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times. It was
Shame to miss out on the best ham prize.
Sorry, Gary. Okay, we're on to Modern Times again. Charlie Chaplin, a film that was made in 1931. You can watch it today with your family. It's great for kids. There's lots of slapstick comedy, but there's also a lot of meaningful stuff going on in the film, and the fact that Charlie wants a job. Very hard to keep the job. And he wants the home and the wife and
The American dream.
The American dream is in there, and it's very tough to do. And the factory work that's depicted in the film is not only very funny but very poignant. I mean, there's a classic scene where Charlie Chaplin gets wrapped up into the cogs of this machine, which is at once very funny but also very meaningful in the fact of what happens to these laborers who work and work and work. But it again, a balancing act of tragedy and comedy, and something that's meaningful, and a film that's called Modern Times that is modern in 1931 as well as 2002. Just a very brief clip from Modern Times right now. Here's Charlie Chaplin. He has a job in a diner, and he's been asked to sing because the cabaret people have left. So he's just the waiter. He doesn't know the words to the song, so he writes the words on these cufflinks. The first thing he does, and which you'll be hearing at the beginning of this, is the music sort of chugs along, and he doesn't know what to sing because the words on the cufflinks have flown off of his arms when he was dancing. And so here's Charlie Chaplin from a film that's great for all times, Modern Times.
Shame to miss out on the best ham prize at next year's fair is all. Nice plump haunches he's getting.
Bella giustatore, je notre soccafore, je notre citavore, je la tula tila tua. La spinach o la bouchon, si grete portabello, si rocchi spaghetto, je la tula tila tua.
And that's Charlie Chaplin from Modern Times, a film that you may not think of to watch around holiday time or even with your kids, but I I can assure you it's appropriate for all ages.
And one of the things I think is so great, and it's making me think of the San Luis Obispo International Film Festival, is that, always the closing event that they do a silent film. And what a great, modern times might be a really great way to show kids about the silent film. Because again, as we were talking about before, with the singing being with the words audible, it's kind of the bridge between the time of having silent films being completely silent to the talkies, so to speak. And I think that that's always just sort of a nice introduction to kids to get a taste for silent film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the elements of both are in this film, and Chaplin was resistant to sound, but then when he finally gave in, he gives in modern times by singing.
Right.
And that's the first words and the only words that he utters in the entire film. But just a delightful film, and I think you'll be talking about it. It's great for any ages. It's definitely a G rating, but has some resonance on what's happening in today's world.
Always the sort of the classic, the film that adults can enjoy, as well as having the two levels that are going on. I think that's always great.
I think we've approached all these films, Catherine, with the idea that the whole family can watch. As we get on a little bit later, maybe one or two.
Maybe not, yeah.
But still.
And actually, moving on, the next couple films that I want to talk about are really associated with family. And again, because I think of a family being a real element of the holidays for people's celebrations. The first one, some people might not agree with me as being really, and these next films that I'm mentioning might not be watchable by the whole family, but I can't think of family, the real, true, strong bonds of family, any more than in the classic trilogy, the Godfather films, Godfather 1 through 3, or as if I was on The Sopranos, GF 1, 2, and 3. But the Godfather. The reason I'm bringing this up as a possible holiday film is for a couple reasons. First of all, I think that, again, spending time with the family, thinking about our own family relationships, there's all these things that we're dealing with. We all deal with the idea of loyalty and chain of command within our family, respect for all the members, and regardless of the actions that they take, right? But in our own families, these rules are not so clearly defined. And this, we deal with these conflicts all the time. In the mafia, it's a little different. These rules are very tried and true and have a long history, and it's everybody's role is very spelled out, and but they still have these conflicts. Plus, so there's that one level of the family idea. Then of course there's the other idea is that you have some time, so you can actually watch all three of them. You could have your own Godfather marathon. Mm-hmm. And here's the bonus. Here's your bonus for the holidays. You might even have time to listen to the outstanding director's commentary, if you're listening on DVD, Francis Ford Coppola on all the DVDs of the Godfather series. Plus, there's actually an entire disc devoted to bonus material. And you know how I feel about the bonus material. That's the only reason I have the DVD. So they're outstanding. So it'll give you a little extra time. And again, a lot of people go for the marathon over the holiday. This is one I recommend.
When Bob and I had the show on Marlon Brando, I remember the Godfather clip that we played. It's around in the archive somewhere where Brando is very upset with this guy because he doesn't spend time with his family.
Right.
And you're absolutely right in the fact that the family mechanisms are there, but of course, in the case of the Godfather and the Corleones,
yes,
they have to say, well, these police aren't doing the job. We need to do our own job.
Right.
The politicians aren't doing the job. We're going to do that job too. So there's a little more responsibility within the Corleone family, but it's still a family.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. So, I mean, again, just there's some, it's a fun thing to watch, and just to be able to do it back to back. How could it get any better than that?
You know that the Sopranos watch The Godfather.
Of course, on the holidays.
At Christmas time, probably.
Of course. Oh, that's a good one.
That's a great one.
Whew. So again, keeping on the theme of family dynamics, this next one actually was sort of for a lot of people, it's totally under the wire and off the radar screen. The next film that I'm going to talk about again is Stuart Saves His Family, starring Al Franken. And for some of you who are Saturday Night Live fans, in the 90s, Al Franken had a sort of popular returning character, and it was the idea of Stuart Smalley, who had the TV show Daily Affirmations, and his whole, it was a sort of a mockery of the self-help movement, so to speak. And then, of course, they parlayed that into this movie, which, Saturday Night Live has several spin-off of their little one-act character kind of things. But Stuart saves his family. Like I'm saying, it wasn't really well known, but I have to say, I was when I first saw this film, I was very suspicious. I thought, this is going to be so stupid. Give me a break.
Saturday Night Live alumni have not a great record.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe you can pull out the Blues Brothers. That was very successful, but then you can count out probably 5 more that were way
Wayne's
under
World,
the wire.
Sure, but yeah.
Not only under the wire, but the quality was not there.
It was poor. Let's just say it. Weren't marginal at best. What can I tell you?
Right.
So Stuart saves his family. Yeah, suspicious. Now I get to see this film, and it is actually very, very interesting and touching. And it basically the entire storyline here is about the legacy of alcoholism on adults, who grew up together in an alcoholic family. And I was blown away with how well this movie, it was one of the most genuine portrayals of that sort of adult, forgive the terminology, the adult children dynamic. And it was very good. And it's a great film to see, especially again, keeping with the idea of, the holidays, again, for a lot of people aren't the happiest times dealing with all the family drama that might pop up. And it is just a very genuine and very funny film. And we actually have a clip from that featuring, again, Al Franken as Stuart Smalley with Julia Sweeney playing an anonymous young woman who's dealing with some self-esteem issues. So we can listen to that.
Hello, I'm Stuart Smalley, and I am so delighted to be here. And for my first show, I've decided to demonstrate just how powerful a tool the daily affirmation can be. You see, all my life, I've heard the same things over and over again. Stuart, you're not good enough. Stuart, you're not smart enough. Oh, and by the way, Stuart, no one likes you. You know who was saying all these horrible things? My mom? Well, yeah. My dad? Well, him too. But mainly, these words were coming from me. That's right, the little Stuart that sits inside my brain criticizing every little thing I do. Well, today, to show how the daily affirmation works, I've invited someone who has even less self-esteem than I do, if you can believe that. We'll call her Mia C. to protect her anonymity. And Mia, first of all, I want to thank you for doing this. I know how much courage it took. Mia, can you hear me?
Yes. I'm sorry.
You look a little nervous, Mia. Maybe try to relax a little.
Sorry.
Well, maybe if you just unclenched your body. Your whole body looks a little tight. Take a big cleansing breath. Good. Very, very good. Now, Mia, I want you to look in this mirror. Don't look at me. Only you can help you. That's it. Look in the mirror. Well, see how pretty you are? Okay, let's take those glasses off. Oh, good. Okay, let's put the glasses back on. You look very pretty with the glasses.
Sorry, thank you.
Mia, have you ever noticed that you apologize a lot?
Oh, I'm sorry, do I?
Yes, you do. That's exactly the point. You see, I want you to look in that mirror, Mia, and I want you to repeat after me. I am a worthy human being.
I'm a worthy human being.
Okay, I really couldn't hear you. Try it again.
Oh, okay. I'm a worthy human being?
No, Mia, it's not a question. Try it again.
I'm sorry, what is the second part?
Worthy human being. I am a worthy human being. Just say it.
Am I saying it to you or to myself?
Just say it. I am a worthy human being.
I'm a worthy human being.
Okay, not louder.
I am a worthy human being.
Okay, mean it.
I am a worthy human being.
Believe it.
I hate you, Mom! Sorry.
No, that was interesting. That was actually good. I think we're getting somewhere.
Well, Catherine, this movie, Stuart Saves His Family, was under the radar. I hadn't seen it, and then when I was looking for sound bites today, I was just rolling.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great, and what a great clip that is.
Again, it is making fun a little bit of the self-help movement, but it's worth seeing. It's a good one.
So for the holidays, try Stuart Saves His Family. I believe it's rated PG-13, but I don't. Is there anything that might be rough for kids in that one? Or?
Maybe a little bit older kids, just because of the
It is rated PG-13. So Stuart Saves His Family with Al Franken.
Yeah. And you're good enough, you're smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like you. What can I tell you?
Well, having said that, I'll remind you that you're listening to the movie program on public radio, KCBX, San Luis Obispo, and Santa Barbara counties. It's Take Two, and across the aisle from me is Catherine McDonald. My name is Jim Dee, and we'll be back with more, possible holiday films after we go to the concession stand. We're back from the KCBX concession stand, and nice big tall drink and the popcorn and some Christmas cookies for our holiday program.
And the movie theater eggnog. That's what I'm drinking.
Here we go. We're talking about films that aren't really recognized as perennial holiday favorites, but we're trying to point out some that would be very appropriate. And we're going to talk about a couple more briefly, and then, of course, we'll open up the phone lines, give you the number. It's 549-8855, 1-800-549-8855. Perhaps you have a movie that you watch every Christmas or holiday time or New Year's time with your family.
Yeah, and there's something I wish I could do like a doctoral thesis on it. So many people I know, their family they watch Mel Brooks films every holiday.
Why
which
not?
Which is a great choice. Or another family, which will remain nameless, watches Strange Brew every holiday that they get their get together.
Are they Canadian?
No.
No. Well, I'd like to bring up a film that has a title that is almost like It's a Wonderful Life, and it's one of the greatest films I've ever seen. I consider it in my top 10, and it's The Best Years of Our Lives with Dana Andrews and Frederick March, to name a few. An amazing film. It runs about 3 hours long, but it is so meaningful. I found it was so poignant, especially the fact that it takes place after World War II, but the war sort of lingers over the film, even though there's no war scenes or anything. And it's an integral part of these three guys who come out of World War II, become friends, and then they resume the lives that they had prior to the war. And it's really poignant, really moving and funny, and it's just I just think of it as a film that would be great to just get the entire family around, the set and enjoy the best years of our lives. One thing that's interesting of what Catherine was mentioning about the family thing that happens around holiday time.
Yeah, I kind of focused on some dysfunction there. Sorry.
It seems to be there. You get the families together, and I'm sure everything it can be fine. But if there's anything that's rustling beneath the surface, holiday time is the time that it comes out. One thing I found fascinating about The Best Years of Our Lives is the family that Frederick March is in. He has a wife and two children, and they talk to each other. They're frank with each other. And what's great about this film, too, is there are scenes that go on and the banter is intelligent. And you don't see that too often. And perhaps also with this idea of this holiday time with a war sort of lingering over us, I felt that this film had even more poignancy if you were to watch it today. Right now, I'm going to play you a clip from The Best Years of Our Lives. And to set this up, Frederick March has a daughter, and Frederick March's friend, Dana Andrews, his war buddy, who does not have a perfect marriage, far from it, is falling in love with Frederick March's daughter, Peggy. And in this scene, and it's an amazing scene, Frederick March has called Dana Andrews to a diner to just face him and ask him, "Are you in love with my daughter?" And listen to this banter between Frederick March and Dana Andrews from The Best Years of Our Lives.
Hi, Al. Sit down, Fred. What are you drinking? Cup of coffee. Gotta have a clear head for soda jerking. Cup of coffee and a bourbon and soda.
Yes, sir.
Well, what's on your mind, Al? Want to borrow some money or something?
I called you to ask you a question.
Okay. Shoot.
Are you in love with Peggy?
Is there any law compelling me to answer that one?
No. Nevertheless, I repeat, are you in love with Peggy?
Yes.
I thank you for a short and honest answer.
You're welcome. Now, what do we take up next?
Your wife. What about her? Where does she fit in this romantic situation?
Is that any of your business?
That's what Peggy said, that it's none of my business.
Oh. You've had her on the carpet, too.
She volunteered some information to her mother and me. You see, we have a rather unusual relationship in our family. It may seem kind of corny and mid-Victorian, but we tell each other things. I happen to be quite fond of Peggy, and
You don't want her to get mixed up with a heel like me.
I haven't called you a heel. Yet. I just don't want to see her get into this mess.
Okay, chum. What do we do now? Step out and settle this thing in the alley?
I wouldn't want to recommend that as a solution. I've learned a lot of tricks in fighting dirty. If I got tangled up with you, I might forget myself and break your neck. I wouldn't like that. You see, Fred, I'm quite fond of you, too.
Thanks.
But I don't like the idea of you sneaking around corners to see Peggy. Taking her love on a bootleg basis. I give you fair warning, I'm going to do everything I can to keep her away from you. To help her forget about you and get her married to some decent guy who can make her happy.
Then I guess that's it, Al. I don't see her anymore. I'll put that in the form of a guarantee. I won't see her anymore. I'll call her up and tell her so. That satisfy you?
Yeah.
Anything else on your mind?
No.
Okay, chum. So long.
So long, Fred.
Drinks are on me.
That's a soundbite from great film, The Best Years of Our Lives, which I would highly recommend. Get the family around the tube, watch it around holiday time. It's really a great film.
And that dialogue is just great right there, that scene. It's nice.
Yeah, Frederick Marx say, hey, we're kind of a strange family. We talk to each other.
Yeah.
We tell each other the truth. And it's really refreshing when you do watch this film, where the way people talk and they're very open and they're intelligent. Everybody in this film is very smart, and the dialogue is smart. And so that's my recommendation for a great holiday film, The Best Years of Our Lives.
Great. And should we talk about our last selection?
One more. We're going to go into our last recommendation, and we'll give you the phone number again. You can weigh in with your holiday favorites. It's 549-8855 or 1-800-549-8855.
So rounding out our selection of really films for the holiday, the alternate films for the holiday, a movie we've talked about before, and what I really want to use your words, Jim, for talking about this film. This is a film really about a spirit of giving and giving gifts, not only just that are wrapped up, but giving gifts that are from the heart. And no film captures this better than the past couple of years, for me at least, and hopefully for other people who've seen it, than Amelie. And Amelie was just a tremendous film. Here in San Luis Obispo, it had a very large following, can we say. A lot of people really came to embrace and love this film, Amelie. And it's just a dazzling dazzling is just almost an understatement. It's just a tremendously fun, exciting, engaging film.
Yeah, the gifts that she gives, she Amelie is the best way to remember the name, if you don't already know the film, is like Emily, but with an A, and she devotes her life to making people happy, except for the grocer. Let's
Yeah.
just say. Yeah, I mean, she does have a
She
few tricks.
punishes the people who are so deserving, and,
Yes.
and again, the theme of the movie is that she's meddling in a loving way to try and fix people's lives, but then her own life has become, has she fixed and fiddled with her own life? The answer was no. So
Mhm.
it's sort of a charming, it's almost very fairy tale quality to this film.
Mm-hmm. And going back to the idea that why do we give gifts? Is it because we're going to get one in return,
Mhm.
or you want to look for those gifts that you're going to get, or do you get a certain feeling when you give something to someone? What triggers everything in Amelie is she finds this old box behind a piece of tile in
yes.
the bathroom, and she wants to find the owner. And what a wonderful thing to do. In other words, find the owner of this little box that was probably hidden whenever the person was a child, and how happy it would make this person.
Right. And there's there's this lovely moment where when she's first presenting this box to the now grown man who it once belonged to, she said, she's basically saying, she's going to watch him from a distance and see, if he is thrilled, if he's touched by receiving this gift from his past, that then she's going to go on and live this life filled with, doing good for others. And if not, well, then she's off to just her regular old life. So
Yeah.
it's very, this movie really catches a sense of magic in a way that a lot of other films don't.
It's almost overflowing to excess. It's
Right.
so creative and fun. And I might add that as all of our previous films, I think, were pretty good for the entire family. Now, Amelie is rated R, but when you compare it to something like a Goodfellas or something, it's very strange that the Amelie would get an R. There's not really much language. There's a little bit of sexual content, but this film is so charming. The fact that her boyfriend-to-be works in a porno shop, it's a charming porno shop. But they just make it that way. So,
well, maybe because it's France. I don't
France,
know.
yes, it's so French. But a film about the gift of giving and the rewards that it brings. Amelie is, I believe, both of our picks for a
Yes.
holiday a staple.
You know what? Honestly, though, you could put any category out, and I'll fit Amelie in there. It just is. It was my number one film for last year. So
I don't know if it's available dubbed, but I would obviously go for the subtitle version over.
I am even shocked that you.
I'm sorry. I guess no, you're right. I scratched that.
Yeah.
Completely.
And-
we showed Crouching Tiger to a number of children, and the subtitles didn't bother them one bit.
Again,
so.
I'm going to say it's a chance to introduce youth to the subtitles because if they can read, they can enjoy a subtitled film.
Okay,
There's
I didn't.
nothing like that.
I didn't say the D word.
No one heard that. Of course not. So again.
You're listening to Take Two on Public Radio KCBX, and we are talking about alternate films for the holidays. And let's open up the phone lines. It's 549-8855 or 1-800-549-8855. And, if you watch Godzilla over Christmas time, that was our Amelie music that we can...
it was a teaser.
A teaser, the delightful music from Amelie. But we do have a caller. Good evening, you're on Take Two. Hello? Well, we don't have our caller. Let me try this again. Hello, you're on Take Two. Well, we need to figure out a way to get the phones hooked up with Gary in the other room. Are we on, Gary? Hello, you're on Take Two. Can you tell us where you're calling from?
So anyway, Amelie.
Yeah.
We're having a little, just a minute, but we can just take this time and go back to talking about Amelie for a second. One thing that I think that, again, as I was mentioning before, it's a chance to introduce subtitles for people.
Oh, okay. Well, subtitles we were talking about.
And not to be afraid of them. Again, I think that this was one of those movies that for a lot of people who might not necessarily be open to seeing subtitled films, this was a real good chance for them to get into a movie that, again, just had so much energy around it that I think it might have brought people over to seeing some subtitled films. That's all. I just wanted to mention that.
The subtitles always seem to be a hurdle that people have to get over. It's unfortunate, but when something like a Crouching Tiger comes along or an Amelie, boy, they come out, or a Cinema Paradiso,
right.
It works. Well, let's try the phones once again. Good evening, you're on Take Two.
Hello.
Well, I'm not sure if...
Do you dare?
Do I dare? Let's try this one. Good evening, you're on take 2. Well,
that's from the sci-fi portion of
move on to sci-fi. Well, let's try. Okay. Well, we're trying to get some calls in. I'll give you the phone number again while Gary works on the phones. It's 549-8855 or 1-800-549-8855, and try to give us a call back. We'll try to get the phones on the air.
See, I'm embracing this. This is the magic of live radio.
It is. If you want to call it magic. Okay, here we go. Let's try it again. Good evening.
Hello.
You're on take. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Woohoo!
Great. I'm not hearing you except from the radio in the other room. So.
Oh, okay. Well, could you give us your name, where you're calling from?
Well, let me try to get kind of. Hello.
Hi. Could you tell us your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Gary from SLO.
Gary, thanks for calling.
Yeah, I was. You just had the radio show about Charles Dickens and Christmas Carol, and so there's been lots of versions of that out, and so I was wondering which people's version of that particular movie was. I kind of liked Bill Murray and Scrooge. That was kind of a funny, weird one, and then I also like Little Shop of Horrors. For some reason, seems to be a Christmas. It makes you feel kind of funny and good. It has singing in it. Christmas movies need to have a little music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Bill Murray in Scrooge was a great sort of modern telling of that film. And he, Bill Murray almost can do no wrong. Well, yeah, almost can do no wrong. And that's an excellent choice. And then also, yeah, the singing. A lot of musicals seem to come around I think it's because we've all been plied with carols. We're open to the singing films. So I think that's a great point, Gary.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you guys showing.
And happy holidays to you, Gary.
Happy holidays. Thanks for calling. Cool Yule. Good evening. You're on take 2. Hi.
Hey, Jim and Catherine. This is Erin from San Luis.
Erin. Hi.
How are you guys?
We're doing great.
I was going to recommend the musical Scrooge, made in the 70s.
Was that the one with Albert Finney?
Yeah, starring Albert Finney. And Tiny Tim in that film is really sickly and scrawny, just like he should be.
Well,
that's what I enjoy most about that film. No, but the songs are great. I had the record when I was a kid, and I had them all memorized. But people don't watch it very much. But it's a great film.
Boy, there's so many versions of it, but Albert Finney is great, and there's the tragedy part of Christmas Carol. Tiny Tim, a very tragic character.
Right, exactly. And while you're at it, you could go on Albert Finney Jag and. Watch A Man of No Importance.
Ooh.
And The Dresser.
Tom Jones.
Anything with Albert Finney, I'll watch.
See, because I like the marathon, so you could make an Albert Finney marathon for Christmas.
That's it.
That's a good idea.
Oh, and also we got James here recommending Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Wow, I don't know that one, James.
It's kind of a Muppet special.
Oh.
It's kind of a Muppet thing from the late 70s, I think.
Really, nothing says Christmas like a jug band. So.
Exactly. Exactly.
Is that available on video, do you know?
It is. It's at a Fun Video Store in San Luis.
Good.
Over on the corner of Broad and South.
I think
Shameless
it's called
plug, yeah.
It's over there.
Oh, great. And what's the name of it again, Erin?
Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
And I assume it'd be great for kids.
Yeah, it's very, very touching film.
Great.
Well, thanks, Erin. Thanks for your call.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Take care.
Erin. Bye. Good evening. You're on take 2.
Hey, it's Marisa.
Marisa, hi.
You guys sound great. I'm really enjoying the program. I have 2 favorite movies, which one of them I think certainly is appropriate for Christmas because there's snow and there's gift giving and it's all heartwarming, and that's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder.
Good choice.
I love that. Oompa, loompa. And it has music, as our previous caller said. The music is really important, and plus there's that element of danger. Willy Wonka is not to be trusted.
Yeah,
I don't think he's kind of scary in some parts.
Yeah, that's for sure. And there are just so many lessons through the movie about how to be the right kind of person. And it's about family too. Charlie comes from this wonderful family that's so supportive of him, and Grandpa Joe just is behind him 100%. And yeah, that's a good one. And then The Princess Bride.
Oh yeah, these are great ones.
As you wish, Marisa.
True love. It's all about true love.
That's a
and
great
friendship
choice.
too. Because Andre the Giant and the others, just helping each other out.
Yeah, I think Rob Reiner got the perfect tone because he wanted to sort of skewer the fairy tale a little bit, but it remains a fairy tale, but it's also a little bit modern, a little bit over the top, shall we say, but good over the top.
It's a wonderful, and again, great because it's so appropriate for many ages.
And fantastic actors.
Yes.
I agree. One thing about Willy Wonka, just to go back, is when the kids are messing up, when the kids are doing the destructive things, I like Willy Wonka when he goes, please, stop. Just really kind of nonchalant about it.
Right.
Yeah, so two great recommendations, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and The Princess Bride.
Good job.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks,
Marisa.
Bye-bye.
Good evening. You're on Take Two. Hello.
Oh.
It's you.
Oh, me. Hey. This is my first call. I'm calling from my car.
And you're calling from your car, and your name is?
My name is Janet.
Hi, Janet.
Resident of San Luis Obispo, but I'm in Santa Barbara.
Wow.
But my two recommendations are French films. They're subtitled My Father's Glory. And you were talking about giving and family, and these are and the other one is a sequel to that, My Mother's Castle.
Yes.
Both of those are great.
Those are wonderful films for all the family. I just think you're talking about giving and family, and the little boy when he follows his father around and chases up the birds for him to catch. Just a wonderful little sweet story.
Yeah, I remember those. They probably go the mid-'90s or so. Yeah. I don't remember exactly when they came out, but I remember the two going hand in hand. So my Father's Glory and My Mother's Castle.
And they're really, really sweet family stories. If your kids can stand subtitles and stuff, I think they're wonderful.
Again, I'll say just introducing the kids to the subtitles early. That's how you got to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for calling, and happy holidays to you.
It's really nice to hear your program for the first time.
Oh, great.
Thanks for calling, Janet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And good evening. You're on Take Two. Ooh. Good evening. You're on Take Two. No. Good evening. You're on Take Two.
Hi.
Woohoo!
Hi.
Take
Is that
three.
me?
That's you.
Okay. I'm a resident of Lompoc. I'd rather not give my name. Oh. What happened?
You're still with us.
I am?
You are. Just hold on one moment.
I think I just... Well, I'm sorry we lost that last caller. If you want to try to call again, it's 549-8855 or 1-800-549-8855. I apologize for the technical difficulties tonight. Take Two is the program. Movies are the discussion. We're talking about alternate holiday programs or films. We threw out a handful of them. I'm sure there's dozens and dozens that you maybe watch with your family as holiday time comes around. And we're just looking for ones that you might enjoy over the Christmas holidays. And give us a call. It's 549-8855, 1-800-549-8855. And when you call, give us your name and where you're calling from. Good evening. You're on Take Two. Well, this one line doesn't seem to want to be working, so let's try this one. Good evening. You're on Take Two. Hello. Well. Well.
I hope everybody's... Yeah.
Oh, is someone there? Hello.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, hi.
Hi, this is Michael in Paso Robles.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hey, I had an alternate holiday recommendation.
Great.
It's Mary Poppins.
Oh, perfect.
It's as I said to my folks when I played the album, not strictly Christmas music, but certainly in the holiday spirit. It's all about family and giving and finding happiness.
Spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Oh, very true. And Christmas can be medicine for some of us.
And it's true. Again, like I remember my first viewing of Mary Poppins. There is that element of sadness, and it's not this just completely saccharine sugar story. There's real sadness and loss, and it's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a perfect recommendation.
Good job.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for your call.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
To you.
Good evening. You're on Take Two.
Hi, this is Kent in San Luis Obispo.
Hi, Kent.
Hi. Say, I really like your show. And our favorite Christmas movie is an old one, Laurel and Hardy and the March of the Wooden Soldiers.
Oh, Bob went to New York a few days ago, and he brought up that film. He said, you got to bring up Laurel and Hardy, March of the Wooden Soldiers, and we didn't bring it up, so I'm glad you're bringing it up.
Good job.
It's a good one.
Those boogeymen, they're really creepy.
So many special effects, and the music's good. It's just a great holiday movie.
It is. Boy, I'm really glad you brought that up. And the soundtrack album, I think, is available. I actually found there was a soundtrack to that film.
Neat.
So Laurel and Hardy, March of the Wooden Soldiers. I'm with you. I totally recommend it.
Great recommendation.
Thanks for your show.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Bye.
Boy, I could kick myself for forgetting that one because Bob brought that up.
See, that's the great thing about the callers, that they can bring in the things that we...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Good evening. You're on Take Two.
Hey, you mean I managed to get through your technical problems there?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Charlie from Lompoc. What about Forrest Gump?
What about it?
I mean, as a holiday film.
Do you watch it each year, or?
Well, I watched it. I watched it this year, and it's just such a warm feeling, and it covers such a spectrum of things.
Oh, I agree with you. What's interesting about that film that doesn't have to do with holidays so much, but when Paramount released that back whenever it came out, they were really worried because they were worried about Tom Hanks portraying this slow character, and they thought this movie isn't going to do anything, and then look what it did.
My God, Academy Award.
And it made over $300 million at the box office, a huge box office smash. So that's a great one.
I was a little hesitant to see it initially, but in fact, a friend of mine rented it, and I just kicked myself for not having seen it sooner.
Great. So there's a vote for Forrest Gump for holiday viewing.
There's another, I think it was Albert Finney, a story about a guy that travels across the country with his orange tabby cat. Anyway.
Why don't we throw that out to the callers?
Okay.
And then maybe Erin will include that in her Albert Finney marathon.
There we go.
I think it's Albert Finney. Anyway, he winds up uniting families and all that sort of thing.
Harry and Tonto.
Harry and Tonto, right? That's the one.
With Art Carney.
Art Carney, okay.
Art Carney!
Okay, yeah, the guy that used Jackie Gleason's sidekick.
Yes.
Right, Art Carney, yeah.
Or Ed Norton,
Finney
as we
didn't
know.
sound almost but not quite right.
That's a great one. I haven't seen that one in years, but I remember Art Carney was
I don't know if that's available, but that just struck me as being another great holiday, back in the more traditional Christmas thing, the Peter, Paul, and Mary holiday concert.
Is that available on video?
I've seen it on video.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really great, what they do is they bring in all kinds of various traditions and various singers. They have, I think, a couple of Hanukkah songs on it.
Oh,
cool.
Great.
Well, Charlie, we're going to go to some other holiday calls, so thank you so much.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work.
Thank you.
Right.
Happy holidays. You're on Take Two.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, this is my fourth time. Am I actually talking to you?
You're on.
Thank you for being persistent.
Well, the only reason I'm calling from Lompoc, no name, I just kept calling because one of my favorites, and it sounds really weird, but there was an animated film many years ago, Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. And I never see it anymore. I haven't even seen it on video. And actually, it had a very good musical score. Are you familiar with that at all?
I'm not.
Well, Mr. Magoo and the
Yes.
wonderful voice of Jim Backus, of
Right.
course. But
But a lot of other nobody knows anything about it because I just don't know what happened to that film. But the score is excellent.
have you ever gone online to perhaps to Amazon
No,
or something to try to look for it?
No, I never thought about that. No, well, I don't have a computer, so I never thought about that.
Oh,
but
well.
anyway, maybe you could do that.
Maybe
and
we
then
can.
and then try it out and let us know what you think.
So let's get the full title. It's Mr.
Well,
Magoo's.
I'm not sure if I have the accurate title now, but I think it's. It's Dickens' Christmas Carol, but it's Mr. Magoo, so I think it was Mr. Magoo's.
And I'm guessing that there's probably a fan site somewhere for Mr. Magoo.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the glory of the
Okay,
internet.
okay, we'll
So
try it out.
We'll find.
Okay,
And also, just so you know, no name from Lompoc.
Okay, thank you.
Being on radio, excellent chance to use a fun pseudonym. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think that about does it. I think that's all of our callers. I want to thank all the callers tonight, and sorry for some of the technical difficulties, but thanks for joining in on our discussion of holiday films. And next week we're going to have a replay here on Take Two. Oh, and I believe, unless you want to...
I don't know. I didn't...
Well, Bob will be in New York, and I will be in Florida, so if you want to take it on your own...
There we go.
We'll talk about it during the week. But happy holidays for all our callers, and thanks for supporting our program during the past year, which premiered in 2002, I believe, and has been embraced by you, the great listeners and movie lovers out there.
And we just want to wish you all very healthy, happy, safe holidays upcoming, and enjoy and go out and see movies. That's all I have to say.
There you go. Enrich your life. Keep America strong. See a movie tonight.
Exactly.
Thank you, Catherine McDonald.
Thank you, Jim Dee.
And everyone, happy holidays. Thanks to Gary in the control room, and we'll see you next time on Take Two on Public Radio KCBX, San Luis Obispo, and Santa Barbara counties.